Good morning. So we're in Phoenix, Arizona, last day of the trip, which is super exciting. I just got the car from the sweatiest, most nervous valet I've ever met. And now we're gonna charge at the Supercharger while Mark sleeps. Okay, 6:21, 168 miles. I did pick a hotel that had destination chargers, but they said the chargers were broken. But all right, this charging station's a little bit slower. We're at 62 kilowatts, even though we're still fairly low. But if you look on this information for the Supercharger, it's one of the slower ones, so it's 72 kilowatts max. So as Mark said yesterday, ooh, looks like a first generation one. Alright, so heading out. Pretty cool that we got the shade from the solar panel roof. Fewer cars now and a lot of kind of come and gone older chargers, but I worked on our blog while waiting. Mark's up, he texted me that the birds are tweeting, and so it's time to go to San Diego. Alright, it's 7:25. We've gotten 317 miles on that slower charger. We're down at 8 kilowatts, which is slow, and we're out of here.
So here we are at the Phoenix, Arizona Supercharger. It's an old style, the generation one. It's a 72 kilowatt max, so it's different than the ones we've been using because we've been using Gen 2, which is now 150 kilowatts max. And Gen 3 just came out actually. There's one in Fremont and one I believe in Vegas, and I think that's 250 kilowatt max, so that can really charge fast. And even beyond that, there's Electrify America, which is rolling out their CCS network. That's up to 350 kilowatts, but you know, not all of them are going to be that, so we'll see how many of those they make. So we can come look at it. It looks a bit different. What's interesting is the Gen 3 Supercharger, not this one, has a liquid-cooled cable because the more power you have, or the more current you have anyways, the hotter things get. So there's definitely been a pretty fast evolution of this, and this whole thing's powered by solar power, or at least part of it. I'm pretty sure that's not enough power for all of these cars that are plugged in here.
Finger update. Looks like it's going to be healed right before getting cross country. This is great. If you recall from day one, this is a bleeder.
So we're heading through Arizona. It is quite hot, 100 degrees outside, and quite dry. Well, what's interesting is as we head west, there's more frequent superchargers. You see one there, and we have so much charge there's no need to stop it. It would be silly to stop. So we went from Oklahoma, where we were afraid we were going to actually make it to a supercharger, to the west here where there's enough that we don't really have to worry about it until Gila Bend, Arizona, charging. Yuma would have been a better place to charge, but according to the map, it has reduced capabilities. So we're at 162 miles, 11:36 a.m., 104 degrees, and we are going to San Diego. So that should be about 5 hours, and looking forward to it. Wait for this guy to pass. Oh, it doesn't have quite the solar power shade that our cool Phoenix, Arizona one did. So we picked this little scrubby tree that's trying its hardest to grow, I'm sure. So pretty hot, sunny charging spot. Also, I'd like to give an update on our difficulties with our Bluetooth. Turns out that if you press the information button, little I in the right corner, it'll give you a big numbered list of things to try, and kind of in condensed paragraph form. And the sentence at the bottom right before it says call Tesla is to try and reset the actual center console. And the way you do that is you press both buttons of the turn wheel on the steering wheel for a couple seconds and it resets. And you know what? It worked. It was awesome. So really nice. We now have Bluetooth connectivity again with our phones, and for a long car trip, that's pretty necessary. Although we actually haven't used it that much, but man, when we wanted it and didn't have it, that sucked. Okay, so the car is telling us that we are good to go at 9%, but again, we're going to be on a pretty fast highway and in a very rural desert environment, so we'd like to get a little bit more of a cushion that it's saying is okay, because
it will probably recalculate very quickly based on our experiences in Oklahoma in particular.
So now it says we'll have 16% when we get to El Centro, which is 172 miles away, and we have 287 miles of range, so we think it's pretty safe to go. So it's 12:05 right now, and it's cost us $4.80 to get 125 miles of range. There's Dateland, but we can't stop for the delicious dates because the birds have a date in San Diego, and if we don't get there by 5, that's not good.
Vanilla ice cream. Basically a diet food. Mark's streak of driving in bad weather continues. Now it's raining in the desert.
But now it's only 89 degrees outside.
California, here I come, right back where I started from, where bowers of flowers bloom in the spring, morning at dawning, releasing and everything a sun-kissed miss says don't be late, that's why I can hardly wait, open up that golden gate, California, here I come. Okay, we just passed the checkpoint near Felicity, population 2. So the guard noticed, or the agent noticed our plant and asked if it was real, and we said yes. So it's a fig tree in potted soil, so as long as it's not native soil. So we got through on that. Then the stupid birds decided to pipe up and make sure they got inspected. Parakeets are fine. I think it's parrots that are quarantined because of Newcastle disease that kills poultry, but the little guys got to show off, tweet a little bit, get seen by the agricultural inspector agent, and pass with flying colors. And now they won't shut up about it. Alright, there's the Mexican-US border with the fence. It's been there for several years. This is a new one. But we're kind of heading along the 8. We're going to stop in El Centro to charge up, and then we'll be in San Diego. Alright, we are pulling into the El Centro, California Tesla charger station. As Mark just pointed out, there's a whole lot of power being generated just for us.
This is our last charging stop before San Diego.
Alright, time to charge. 65 miles left, 232, 102 degrees, El Centro, California, and then on our way to our feathered friends in San Diego. Look at those kilowatts pile on. Super impressive. This is great. And we parked at the Tesla number 3A station. There are 3 other Teslas here, but one is on its own station. So even though we're next to this car, they're on 2B. We're on 3A, and then in the background you can't see it because of the X in the way. But that person's on the 1. We're pretty much done. 220 miles plus 156 since we plugged in. And then 2:56 p.m., 102 degrees.
New record. All the best things are in California. 111 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll show you what it looks like. In El Centro, California. Believe it or not, this is a farming town. They have water, but I'm not sure how you grow anything in 111 degree. Here we have a solar farm on the right. And it's probably hard to see it, but on the mountain, the ridge line out there's a bunch of wind turbines. So we're nearing San Diego County, or in San Diego County, not sure. And this is probably one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. It was 111 degrees. What's really interesting, so this mountain range separates us from the city of San Diego and the Pacific Ocean. And we'll see later that as you go up the mountain range, it changes quite a bit. It's a lot more green. It actually snows up there on occasion in winter. 4,000 feet of elevation now, getting up into the mountains of San Diego. And here's some more green power, some wind turbines on the right. One beautiful thing about green energy is it takes no fuel. Once you install these babies, they just keep going and you don't have to feed them anything. So the cost of that, a lot cheaper than conventional power. Here we go. This is a dense forest in San Diego County.
Have a good day, guys.
Here we are.
Coast to coast.
Here we are in San Diego. We started with about 10,550 miles on the odometer, and now we have 13,754 miles. That is?
3,254.
Let's go inside and say hi to everybody.
Oh, good grief.
We made it.
Oh my god.
Hey, Pace.
Hey.
Hi.
You guys are gonna be on my video.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so we have our personal assistant here in San Diego about to charge our Model 3 using the Tesla mobile adapter plugged into a 220 volt with a NEMA 1450 rated to 40 amps of continuous current, and this box I think drops it down to about 32 for, I don't know, it's about 9 kilowatts of charge. So overnight our Model 3 will be charged. So we're here in San Diego charging on the Tesla mobile charger, and we've got 233 volts at 32 amps. It's about 7.5 kilowatts. So it says it's going to take 7 more hours to charge it. And they say it's not good to supercharge to 100% all the time, so they have this limit here you can set. So now we've set it down. In the trip we had 100%. Now it looks like it's about 90% to preserve the battery life. Also, you can set the charging current. This car has a maximum of 48 amps, but because it's plugged into the Tesla mobile adapter, you can see the plus sign is grayed out. So it's going to set it to a maximum of 32 amps, and that's what we're using.